Did it work?
We're live.
We're live. Okay.
We're live.
Well, it doesn't show for me correctly, so I don't see the comments.
Just in the process.
Now I do.
Have you got your Instagram comments
Yes.
up? Well, we join you live from my parents', not my parents' bedroom, my bedroom at my parents' place. So slightly unconventional setup here. I'm on my iPad, which is far from pro. You'll see me rotating a bit. So just holler when you see me rotate, because iPads just do that for some reason. So thank you, iPad. But I'm grateful. I'm grateful to be here, Baza. I'm grateful to be here.
I'm glad to have you here. I believe the Instagram live didn't work, so.
Oh, good.
The last time it didn't work. Are we live on Instagram? I don't see it.
It says tick. It's got a tick, and I guess it wouldn't necessarily let me do that unless it's got a. Where's my phone? Get my phone.
So let's see if. Can you please use
there you go.
stream key if it's not live?
It's live. We're live.
Okay, cool.
Let me. Well, hang on. I don't know if you're live, but Instagram's live. But I'm just going to double check now. No, it doesn't look like we are. Well, where was the stream key that you gave me before? Edit. Okay, I can edit. Remove Instagram. Remove. I'm gonna add a new one. Stream key. It's got a tick. Let me sort my video.
So no, it seems like I'm not live on Instagram.
Okay, well.
Can you use the new stream key, please?
Another one?
Yeah, well, the second one.
I've used the second one. This is what the second one is now.
Okay, so we're going live. Now I see.
All right. We are live, are we?
We are now live on Instagram as well.
Good. Yes. I see you.
Super cool. Yeah, awesome. We'll wait for people to join. Well, we continue. Don't wait, but we have quite a few things to talk about today. Just Webflow Conf alone would need like a few hours of stream if we would like go too deep in it. I have so many questions. I want to ask you so many things about it. So,
well, I know the answer. That's the worrying thing. I have the answers.
Well, which one is more important, the answer or the question? No, maybe that's a dumb question. Anyway, so are we live everywhere? So can we? Yeah, we can.
I think so.
Awesome. I'm going to also prepare my screen. Yeah. All right.
I'm hoping my battery will last. I have one little dot on my portable battery and 40% on my iPad battery. So
that's good. That should last quite a while.
What, with a camera? Let's see.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a tiny camera.
Yeah, let's see. Yeah. Hopefully someone will be home, because I'm home alone right now, so I don't know where anything is. So hopefully someone will just be like, oh, here's a USB-C charger or whatever. Oh, I can show you what happened.
Yeah? Show me.
Because I'm like...
You broke yourself, yeah?
So yeah, I've got this thing. This is my plug, and it's got like 3 USB things, and it's got a US adapter. So if I've got a world adapter, I could use this, just plug it in.
Yeah.
But that snaps up like that, and then this plug, which is currently in
the converter.
Several pieces, the converter just broke, and that just slots into that top bit like that.
I bought one of those when I traveled to London last year.
Yeah, Really good plug. It's like really, really good. But yeah, I had it like sticking out of the train socket yesterday by my feet, and I just moved and kicked it out, and then this broke.
And
So I have all the pieces. I just need some super glue. If I can get some super glue,
or you just need
um,
two pieces of wire and just stick them to the the thing,
I
and
could
then
do that. I could do that. Yeah,
use a
I'm not.
fork to put.
Yeah, yeah. Or my tongue,
Don't
maybe
do
my
this at
tongue.
home, kids. Yeah,
My tongue might be a good conductor for that.
yeah.
But yeah, so if I had some super glue, it would work. Or well, yeah, I thought hmm, I thought I might be able to get some sort of pinfall or something like that, but I'm really playing with fire here. So yeah,
Yeah.
I'll have to charge wisely this weekend or find another solution. But everything else I can charge wirelessly. Like we've got wireless pads everywhere, but just not a friggin' anyway.
Anyway,
I've got limited battery. What were you even talking about?
all right.
Let's crack. Let's get into it.
Did your mic change?
Probably. I don't think so. I don't think it did. No, it's still my AirPods.
Okay, okay. They're pretty good. Anyway, so we can go with the intro, and then we just start. Okay.
Have you written an intro? Have you?
Yeah, it's
Oh,
fine. Like
okay. Let me
the
have a look.
last part, you know how to go about it.
Okay, I'm good.
All right. So this week, Meta revealed their super advanced Ray-Ban glasses. We had Webflow Conf, and Framer showed us their new direction with their new update. All of this in today's episode. This is Command AI. I am Kabarza.
I am Sam, and this is a week in AI design and dev.
Cool. So we have this out of the way. Now let's get into it. So I would start by sharing my screen and showing a few cool things. Maybe we quickly show this just a tiny bit that you guys know that we will be talking about this in a second. But before going into this, maybe we just quickly touch on the Meta Ray-Ban thing. It was pretty cool, actually. Like I saw a few videos about it. I don't know how many you saw. Apparently, maybe we should like. I didn't prepare anything for the like video recording. Maybe I should start from scratch. So yeah, let me actually do this. All right, we can't.
What page is? Oh, this is Meta's own
Yeah,
Instagram. Yeah, yeah.
so I want to show this. Yeah,
Go.
I
It's about
think
to
it takes
begin.
like a second. Guys, I want to show you this, and I promise this is like so cool. At least to me, this was so cool. All right, so this week, Meta, Facebook, they announced these super new cool glasses, and the presentation for it went well. A few parts of it went super well. For example, this one where they are live broadcasting what Mark Zuckerberg is seeing. He's just literally wearing the glasses, and you see like things pop off. And that part works. But later on in the conference, they are trying to do so many things, and it just doesn't work. And to me, it is, a good representation of the stage of this product, where they have like super cool hardware because of the parent, or the company that they bought. um, what's it called, Oculus? I believe these are
Yeah.
also from the Oculus. Yes, they bought that company. The hardware is amazing, but the software, it seems like everything is Meta. So it's not like a Google call or like something like this. It's just everything is from Meta, and it's buggy. Many
Mm.
things didn't work, and yeah, people are calling it trash, but the hardware looks so impressive. So with these glasses that are barely heavier than normal glasses, you get 8 hours of battery life. right? And you have essentially like a screen in your peripheral vision that is like a colored screen, and apparently people can't see it. So this, depending on who you ask, could be a nightmare. Like I could be talking to you wearing these, and you could not see what I'm looking at. What you could say, you could know that I am looking at something because I'm not focused, on you. So I'm looking at it. It seems like that I'm zoning out. And I
Yeah, I
should
was
be
going to
looking.
say people have a look when they're not listening to what you're saying. People have a look about them. They look glazed over. So it'll probably be. Oh, there we go. Super nerd over here.
Yeah. So this was missing. This is my Google glasses. I don't have battery.
Oh, I didn't even notice you were wearing Google Glass. I didn't even notice this
This is how we
cyborg
are
thing.
going with the rest. So
Gosh.
yeah, the presentation apparently didn't go well. I saw, for example, they tried to make a call, just a simple call, and it did not work. And they tried to do a few things like with AI to help with like kitchen stuff with cooking, and the guy wasn't even starting, and the AI would say, "Well, continue
Oh
with
yeah, I
this."
saw that one. I did
It
see that
was
one.
it was
Just kept on
brutal. I
asking
mean,
the same question, right?
yeah, exactly. And to be honest, what I'm really happy about is that where the tech is, because I
Mm.
see, okay, if they have this by the latest, I don't know, in a year, other companies can pick up on the tech and have like similar things that is not from Meta, because I really would love to get these glasses, but I probably won't because they are from Meta, and I
Mm.
just can't. I don't want to. So I'm waiting for, I don't know, maybe Apple, maybe other companies to pick this up and do something cool with it, and with better software, because the software is trash. What is really cool about the software, well, the one part of the software is apparently working like super well, and that is that wristband that he's wearing.
Mm.
He has something on his wrist. That is the controller. So this reads the essentially what your brain is sending to your fingers. It reads that, and based on those gestures that you make, you can control your headset. So it's not like the one from Apple, the Vision Pro, that looks at your fingers. This one reads the neurons. That is insane to think about. And
Apparently, it's you give clues before you actually move your hand and things like that, and it can read those clues, so it feels just sort of like slightly ahead of what you want to
that's
do because it's
insane. Yeah.
yeah.
That is
Mm.
cool. Well, this is the future, I guess. And one cool thing that I saw about it is apparently you can, with your fingers, you can kind of like hold a pen, but not, you don't need a pen. You just
Yeah,
act like
you
you're
just
holding a
act
pen,
like you are, like you do. Yeah,
and you can write things and it knows what
yeah.
you're. But I guess really soon, or sometimes there are like companies, like what's it called, neural
Hmm.
link, that there are competitive companies that are reading like your brain waves without like the implementation that neural link has, without the surgical
Mm.
process. So I guess soon we won't even need that, maybe, I don't know, but maybe sometime in the future you can just your glass, because it's sitting on your skull somehow, maybe could do this, I don't know, maybe, that would
There
be
was
cool.
something released this week, and I didn't have time to prepare it for this show, but there has been something released this week which is able to read your. I'm trying to remember it now. It reads, you can speak, and you don't have to make a sound. You just need to speak, and it can basically read your mind, and you'll be able to do things and whatever. That's as far as my story goes, unfortunately. But there has been something. I don't know whether you saw anything about that at all, or whether any of the viewers have seen anything about that. But it's like Neuralink, but without the surgery.
That is. Have you guys
Mm.
seen Black Mirror?
I've seen Black Mirror.
So people are comparing this to one episode from Black Mirror when the guy can like record everything and remember everything, and
Yeah.
that is dystopian. And this is the closest we've come to that, and it's kind of
Mm.
there. Like you wear this glass, you can constantly record people. Well, I guess not constantly, but we can. You can just record people without them knowing. You can read stuff. You can communicate with your glasses without like showing any, without saying anything, and even your
Mm.
gestures barely happen. So they can be really refined. You can have your hands in your pocket and move them and control your glass. Imagine you like I saw so many like crazy posts about this, people saying like building crazy apps for this, and some people apparently already have. So you can build an app, for example, to recognize people and give you like information about them. And what if you build an app that can tell? There are apps like this that can tell if a person is lying. So you look at people. Imagine you go like you get to know somebody, and you can tell. You can know every information about them. You can tell if they are lying, and I don't know. The AI gives you red flags, I guess, and tells you like everything. It's just insane.
Mm. It's insane. It's interesting, and it on surface level, it sounds very scary and dystopian. At the same time, like we don't know the implications of this, and it could be negative. That's not what I'm saying here, but it also could be very positive in that we are a more, we don't lie as much. Who wants a who wants a world where everyone's lying, right? Um, there's definitely some things you can throw out into, oh, I'm sideways again. There's definitely ideas and things you can throw out into the world as a consequence of this tool,
I
this
don't know.
technology, but it's yet
You
to be
don't
seen whether it's good or bad.
you don't want to lie, but you'd also you don't want other people to lie to you, but you don't want to have a tech that is constantly whispering to your ear like
Or
what the
maybe we'll just get better at lying then. Maybe it'll kick us up the arse and be better at lying. Because at the end of the day, like
evolution.
there's no one way that someone says you look up and to the right, or like you do this, like, but actors are lying all the time, and like
Yeah, but then
and it can only say that it feels like this person's lying, and then it's up to you then to like take that next call and be like, well, I know this person, so do I actually trust this tech? But anyway, but it's interesting, like a few observations on what you were talking about as well. Like, so I don't know whether you saw it, but hello, look at this, it's happening all the time now. I don't know whether you saw it, but Meta did do a concept glasses about 3, 4 months ago. They were big and bulky things and
Mhm.
whatever, and it demoed a lot of this technology that they've now managed to. And these were beyond comprehension expensive glasses.
Yes.
I think Marquez Brownlee viewed them, but a lot the wristband technology, for instance, the projection technology, for instance, and I will correct you, it's not quite in your peripheral. It is quite front and center from what I see from the reviews and whatever I've seen. But that's quite miraculous in that there is a pair of glasses that are very. It's basically, I think they basically show you basic notifications, whatever. They're a pair of glasses that are publicly available now. You can go buy them, but in certain lights, you can kind of see where it's being projected. It's like, I don't know. I don't know whether you've seen Matt. a matte screen iPad, but you can kind of hold it up to the light, and around the perimeter you can see the gloss, but then on the surface you can see the where it's being,
Mhm.
with it anti-glare. That's what these glasses are like. But it seems like this, they've managed to find a way to completely remove any remnants. Or apparently you can see it in the dark as well. You can see it when it's dark. That's the only caveat here. So or if you're you're because they're interchangeable lenses, which a few of them are, you can see it then. But all that to be said, it's cool tech. And I will say as well, everyone who's bought the previous version of the Ray-Ban glasses think they are the best technology released, last year. Everyone has loved them, particularly families.
Yes.
When you can play with your kids, and you can just you don't have to worry about like pressing record and whatever. Great for all that. They are great. I've put them on, but I find them very uncomfortable. They're very just everything's rigid about them, the
Mhm.
frames and everything. I don't find them comfortable. But people have been very impressed with the version one. This is just now taking it to the next level. But it's
Yeah.
meta. They're
Yeah.
soaking up every bit of data that they can from you. And
Yeah.
it's just, these glasses are probably worth 10 times as much, but they sell them to you cheaper. Saying that, these are 7.99, so they haven't quite subsidized as much as the version one.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, all of that being said, we've come a long way. I'm
Yeah.
still holding on to
I
these just as a
can't
piece.
believe you've got those. That's like
Yeah,
iconic.
this is kind of like a museum right now in my drawer.
Yeah.
They work, but just for a couple of minutes, very buggy. It's they
Did you
don't have a
did
software.
Did you buy them secondhand? Like, how did you get hold of them? I'm just gonna use this camera because it's
Yeah,
doesn't
yeah.
doesn't
Well,
want to rotate.
long story. I have to tell you another time. But yeah,
Okay, kill
um,
the man.
yeah, but it's really cool. It's really cool. And with these, you do see what the other person is seeing, kind of, and it's insane
Mm.
that this much, like this thickness, has changed now by a whole lot. Anyway, so this was meta news, things going wrong, but still people are very excited about it, and I really want to try these glasses. Going to the next update. I don't know if you've seen this one or not. You've played with Framer, right?
I've dibble dabbled. I've dibble dabbled.
Okay. So Framer released an update this week, one day before the Webflow Conf, and they showed us the direction that they are going. So now they have this thing is called design pages. Previously, you you had essentially this view to have one page. This was one web page, right? You had this one web page you could design in it, and inside of this canvas you could zoom in and out, but you had only this one page. And if you had like a contact page, you would go to a different page. So these are like different separate
Mm.
pages, right? Now they have design pages, which is just like Figma. Here you can have frames, right? I can
And they
just
call them frames as well, right? They are actually called
they have
frames.
been always called frames, right?
Mhm.
I believe
Oh yeah,
so.
because of course, yeah, because it's
Yeah.
framer.
Yeah, I believe so. Anyway, so you have these frames and you can have like as many as you want, and you have like the canvas completely free for yourself. And here you can design. This is not like the rest of the framer that you're designing a single page, a specific page. Here you're designing whatever, which is really cool. It's just like Figma, it's nothing new, but it's new to Framer and it exists now all in the same place. And once you are ready with a direction, let's say you make a bunch of designs, then you put them together, then you have like a frame that is ready to be developed. You're essentially here. You can just right click on this. Okay, right click on this, and then you say create web page. And here you have under pages a new page that is that frame that you were working on. So it's kind of like you're designing but developing at the same time, but in a
Mm.
free form canvas. So all they
Uh,
added is a free form canvas where you have the same features. It's nothing new.
And tools. Okay.
It's just in a new environment, and it just makes
Mm,
sense. I was surprised that they didn't have it. I kind of knew that they don't have it, but it never occurred to me that, oh, that specific thing in this way is missing. It just felt like, oh yeah, now in Framer you have like different pages and that's how you do it.
mm,
But now that they have released it, it totally makes sense. And this shows their direction. They are going after Figma really bad. They
mm,
want that
mm,
the whole piece of the cake. They don't want just the development part. They are not saying, oh, hey, designers, you can design your portfolio directly inside a Framer. No, they are saying like you can design inside a Framer anything, and then you just have it ready
mm.
to be published. So,
And you, it,
what do you think?
more than just, I think it's great. I didn't know that it was basically the same thing, and that you just, it's great for iterations. It's great for, coming up with lots of iterations and being like, right, this is the one, assign that as the contact page. How easy is it just to, can you just like in an instant switch to a new design for the contact page?
That's what I thought. No, but I
Mm-hmm.
guess like you would put all the things from one into that page, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
or you just
Because
or you just like if you don't like this instance, you make a new one, you call it something else, and then you make a web page and then just change the link, I guess. But I know what you're asking, but I don't know if you can actually
yeah,
switch.
click swap. I mean, it is what it is. But yeah, this is great. And I don't think it will necessarily kill Figma, because remember, more than just web designers use Figma. You use
Yes,
it for your thumbnails, right?
yes,
A good friend of mine, Susie, she's app, so she's doing app design in it. And this isn't going to replace all of that. This is just taking the web designers and giving them the complete end-to-end flow for web designers. So that's really great. And I think what the what this is great for, the classic meme of designers coming up with some crazy friggin' animation, or like this or that, or skewing and doing all these things, and developers are like, how the hell am I going to create that?
yeah,
That's because, in part, due to the fact that because Figma is so well featured to support app designers as well as web designers as well as graphic designers, it's going to give you things that you can do that you cannot do in the web, and that's a point of friction and a point of um, apprehension for designers, thinking, well, what can I? And designers are thinking, well, I wish I knew more about development, because I don't know what you can and can't do. What
yeah,
this is going to be a very condensed version. This is like Figma Lite, where you can only do things that can work on the web. You can only do, that everything you're designing in here is going to be for the web. Granted, you might be able to get a little bit clever with what you do. I can see you're putting together some sort of button or a switch or something here. You might be able to get clever with certain things to create what you need, but ultimately you're pretty certain it's going to work for the web. Whereas, yeah, Figma is a bit more daunting, because certainly blend modes are a bit of a pain, and blend modes are not good for web. And and I see a lot of people use blend modes that you could achieve through other means that don't use something that's so graphically or processor intensive as a blend mode, as an example. So yeah, all in all, and 100% free, unlimited pages, unlimited
yeah,
canvas, 100% free. So Framer of they're going after the web. They're trying to seize the web designers from
yes,
Figma for sure.
yeah, definitely. This feature is for free, but just to like for people who don't know, like Framer is quite more expensive than Webflow, and this is what people don't realize, because the starting tier is very generous, and
It's like
then
£5, isn't it? €5, something like that.
yes, for something that I believe nobody needs, it's just so limited. But the moment like you have anything serious, like we have clients, and I can't use any like reasonable plan from Framer for any of my clients, if it makes sense. So
Hmm.
something that my clients are paying $20 a month for at Framer would cost $80 a month. Okay. So this
Yeah.
is like for 90% of my clients, Framer would be extremely expensive, and $80 a month for a builder, it's a stretch. Anyway, I want to show you also this diagram that I just made. I have talked about this in the past, and this is maybe a time that we can talk about it. So there are things that you can do in Figma that you, like a designer, can't do them in development, and vice versa. You know, that there are like things that you can do in one and not in the other. Well, I guess you could do pretty much everything in development if you knew how, like, to perfectly code with WebGL and whatever. But that's one of the points. So inside of, if you are only a designer and have no idea about the code, that's the point. If you have no idea about this side of the equation and just live inside of design, you are missing out. For example, we have slots, component slots. They don't exist inside of Figma. Like with variations, variants inside of Figma, you don't have slots. You have a variation and like multiple ones that you can mix together. But like the way you can do it, for example, even in Webflow, you can just build so much, like exponentially more with exponentially less, components. You can build many more because you can just mix them, something that Figma doesn't support yet. That is not something visual. This is like functional but still missing. Something visual that is missing is like the WebGL effects, right? There are tons of effects that can happen in the development side that you're completely are missing when you're just sticking with design. So yeah, it could be WebGL, it could be animations. Even the animations that uh, Figma has is a small portion of what is possible. So the best would be to do what you want to do, like follow what you like to follow, but also just get informed about what is possible in the other, so you are not missing out.
Mm. It's an age old thing. Like when I was working in corporate, like you would always get the designers that were frustrated or again just worried that they're designing things that a developer wouldn't be able to achieve or couldn't do or something like that, you know. And I think it's developers, we need to be more bold and ambitious on what we can do or what we can achieve, particularly with newer technologies and with AI now. You can have the AI figure out how you're going to achieve something complex, but ultimately just a little bit more compassion for, or not compassion, but just, our communication probably needs to be better in guiding our designers and helping them. Like every designer is going to be different. Every developer is going to be different in their capabilities, and you're going to get some who are really, and what I'm seeing more of, developers are really functional heavy. They don't care about design. Well, not that they don't care about design, but they're just not good. A lot of them don't know CSS. A lot of them don't care for CSS
Yeah.
anymore. They just really, they care about is linking all of this functionality together, having this two-way interactions and passing state. And it is it is a lot more fun than doing the UI stuff, which is why often developers will use Tailwind and they'll just approximate the design because they just don't. It's not interesting to them. So that's another thing that I think designers need to be aware of. They're going to be working with some developers who really just don't have an eye for design and don't really care for it, and not really an answer to any of these questions, but just maybe a bit of understanding of, from a developer perspective, what you're contending with or what you're dealing with. You might not be dealing with a developer who, well, that's another thing as well. I don't think designers truly understand the amount of responsibility that a developer has. So
Yeah.
whilst the designer is like, I want them to do the design, this design is everything and it means so much. you're just one of the plates that a developer is spinning. Obviously, I'm very biased right now, but you're just one of the plates a developer is spinning.
Yeah,
They've got an they're also spinning security. They're also spinning accessibility. They're also spinning just deployments and then getting it live and uptime and things like that. So, yeah, it's a messy field, and I think it's just the answer is just being curious, understanding, and sympathetic to everyone's role,
yeah,
and just
I
getting
agree.
out there and just yeah, just trying your best, you know.
For everyone to get a understanding for this, if you're like wondering what is that so easy in design and difficult in development, just imagine forms. Like with a form, a designer typically just creates some simple forms, but as a developer you have to manage the states and you need to make sure what if.
Sanitize the inputs, you know,
Yeah,
make sure it's not people ain't hacking it, you know.
yeah, and how you are sending the data and what you are showing to the user after sending the data, and so much of this can be designed, but what I see in reality, very often designers miss these details. So yeah, all that to say there is a lot more into it. With that,
Mm.
let's go to our next topic, and this is the most interesting part for me to see like your reaction and to hear from you
Mm.
what you think about
Mm.
each one of these things that Webflow released. We could go into some of them in details, and with some other we can just
I
um
want to go through that real quick, and I'm just going to go speak to my mum and see if I can get a USB-C charger.
okay, all right, so
Yeah.
yeah, I'll do that. So Webflow just released, well, they released their new conference, and they released a few. Well, they haven't released. That's what I'm trying to say. They haven't actually released them. They announced them. There's a difference. So none of these features are available to me as of a few hours ago that I checked. So we have Webflow Cloud, which was announced before. They just kind of like mentioned it again. Component canvas. This was super new. I had no idea about it, and it looks really cool. Their hosting infrastructure is now and kind of like new. They have it with Cloudflare, and they talked about AI traffic. That more of our traffic, the web, basically like people are reading your website less. Instead, it's AI bots that are reading your website. uh, we have we have Sam back. Are you back?
I'm on mute. I've asked for a plug,
Yeah, all good.
but I've been listening.
Uh, okay, we had some updates around how you can essentially make your like manage your website in a way that brings more business. So that is to understand how your visitors behave, have some goals for your website, for example, that is buying something or clicking a button to sign up for something or its newsletter, whatever your conversion looks like. You have these goals, and now you can set them in Webflow. And with some AI, you can manage those and also get some reporting, which is really cool. We had real time collaboration shown to us, which was announced before. I have tried it. This is I tried the beta version, and it feels so good. The cursor is missing though, so you can see the cursor of like other people in the project where they are exactly at with their cursor, but you see a box around where they are. I can actually show this here. Yeah,
The demo didn't
something.
go too well on that either, did it?
Yeah, the demo. I want to say this. Yeah, the demo went pretty bad, and uh, it seemed like the person who was handling, who was supposed to do something, they didn't know how to do it. Um, they didn't know like the Webflow side of how to do it, which is a bit strange to me. Anyway, you see like these boxes around. Like where people like what element people are working on, and multiple people can click on the same element, by the way. And what we tested, like I can create a class and then right just like after I press enter, you can start typing and that class shows up for you, and you can use that class on a different element or do animation with it or whatever. So that is super cool that it's truly like synced at the same time. You have the charger now, right?
No, but we're good for the time being. I just wanted to make sure it one's on
Okay,
its
so
way.
let's I would say like instead of me just reading through them, I think it's it's a bit boring. I want to just kind of like have it in a two-way
Hmm.
conversation. They showed their AI assistant again, and this is the part of the live that went super bad. Anything else was like either technical or it was boring. This was boring, it was bad, and people they didn't react really well to it, and it was super awkward. So the AI,
What changed in this? What changed in the AI assistant
yeah,
other than just obviously its placement?
nothing essentially.
Okay.
Yeah, so
'Cause there's lots of other AI things, as you've already said, but just the AI assistant specifically, like what's changed?
yeah, I can show it to you, and man, I wish I felt bad for them, man. Uh, well, I shouldn't say this. I don't particularly
It's,
feel bad for them. Like they decided to show something that is undercooked. It doesn't bring any value. They know that the community is not really happy about this because this is AI slop. Like what is so
yeah, you're not
amazing?
appealing to anyone in that room right now, are you? Like the AI assistant is really, it doesn't solve a problem. It doesn't
Yeah,
solve any problem. Like we do it, and it was like, well, this is great for someone who has no idea what they're doing. But most people, especially in the professional, like Webflow is not an amateur tool anymore. Which, just to briefly bring into the Framer question, Framer has given up competing with Webflow just because Webflow is just such a professional tool. Basic AI assistant stuff is like, we haven't spoken about Figma's release, by the way, and I think that's quite a nice, maybe a nice middle ground. What have they called it? Did you see? Didn't they call it a oh, I don't know. Do you remember what they called it? Figma?
uh, the the Figma AI, you mean?
Yeah, they phrased it in a way where it's just like it takes your design and it just variates it. Like that's what they're
Yeah.
saying. You can take your design and vary it with a prompt, right? Whereas
Yes.
Webflow, they're saying do everything, and Webflowers aren't asking for that. Aren't asking for it to create. It doesn't save them a lot of time.
Yeah.
Um,
We'll get into somewhere potentially very exciting with Webflow, but this is just not it to me because the quality is not there, and this is not what I
It might
would.
be a good starting point, though. Don't get me wrong. Like just creating that, it might save you a few minutes just to be like, can you create me just a testimonial section, and then it gives you a starting point to then do your magic.
This is the question: who is this even for? Because I would just use like my existing, like I have structures. By the time that I'm this deep in the website, I have like
Hmm.
style guides and structures, and I'm
Hmm.
much faster that way than some AI slop. If the AI
Hmm.
quality is good, which we see clearly it's not good. She asked for a different layout, they gave it a
Yeah.
picture, and it came up with a completely different layout than what they asked for. So it's not good. That's why this one got the
Mm.
lowest rating for me. So
Yeah.
no,
I think they need to frame it differently, and that is that it gives you a boost. It gives you a head start for you to then go in and do your magic, rather than have it just create things for you, right?
yeah,
It's all, for me, it's all in the language that they should have used, or
yeah,
the context in which they need to frame it. But
yeah. For me, they should have put this under like Webflow Lab. That is something that cool we are playing with, right? Then I would be so happy to see it. I would be like, oh, cool! Look, they are. building something, and it's
Mm.
still like the start of it, but now they are selling it somehow.
Mm.
Uh,
It's just unclear who
well,
it's
like you
for
say,
and
like
what
I
problem
see
it's
Webflow
solving.
everywhere. Anyway, so another update that is super small. Everybody is saying it's so small, but I'm so freaking happy about it. Is a new share link system. So now you can
Hmm.
share your website as a sandbox link. So I guess this is like a read only. And then we have a comment link that you can share with your clients, and they can just open the site in a commenting environment and they can just comment on it. And this is awesome. This is like super awesome. Even uh, yeah, I think no other tool has it in this particular way, which makes it super interesting to me. Like you, when you share a comment link, apparently they don't see anything else. They can't see like the code or the layout or the structures that you have. They just see like the preview with the option to add comments, which is which is really valuable because markup. Do you know markup? Have you used markup?
Um, it's for reviewing websites, right?
So markup.io, we used to use that, but they removed their free tier, and now they just cost like $80 a month.
It's gone up. Yeah, I remember
Yeah.
using it. I've never used it free, but I remember using it a lot cheaper than 80. But it is a very, very good tool. Um,
Well, I don't see any needs for this
no,
anymore.
well,
Yeah.
in with Webflow, yeah.
With Webflow, yeah. With Webflow, you don't need that. Then they had an update for interactions with GSAP. Previously, the new GSAP interactions didn't support breakpoints. Now it does. And did you know about this, that it didn't support
No, I
breakpoints?
didn't. No, I
Yeah,
didn't.
it was still like super early and beta. Well, technically it wasn't beta, but didn't support it anyway. And now it also supports reduced motion. So this is great for accessibility. You can create
Hmm.
an animation and you can say on reduced motion settings, go to the end of the animation. So users don't miss the they miss the animation if they choose to, but they won't miss the end of the interaction, which is sometimes super important. For example, imagine a pop-up coming up. It will
Mm.
just pop up and users will see the end state and they are happy with this without seeing the interaction, the animation, if they choose to. And now with GSAB you can do that. Next update, and this one is a super interesting one. So they added this thing called component canvas, and I want to actually show this somewhere else. Component canvas. Maybe I can find it here. Oh yeah, I do. Man, by the way, these graphics were brutal. They were just so not it. So let me go full screen. You see what is up here. So we have this canvas that you can just move around, and we have this UI that does not look like Webflow at all. Like we have width fixed and height fit. These wordings are not from Webflow world. They are very marketer friendly, and we have the variations, and we have these
That's what Figma and Framer use. I
exactly.
mean,
And
this is isn't this? Huh?
yeah, I want this. I really want this to become bigger and something where you can potentially design in. And
Mm.
why not? Framer is doing it. Figma is going that direction. Like each tool is trying to essentially capture the whole vertical. That is from ideation to production. That is what Framer and Figma are doing. And Webflow could very well do this. I mean, what is stopping them? Like there are also like open source tools similar to Figma. that they could plug into. They could also try to acquire a company. I would really love them to see to do that. I can
Mm,
imagine my team. This gets me excited just to imagine my team, uh, instead of like designing inside of Figma, being able to design inside of Webflow, and then we pick it up and like build
mm,
something with it. Why not? Even if it's limited, if it's not like animated, or if it can't convert directly, it's still
mm.
like, to me, a very exciting idea to do that.
This isn't what everyone wants though. You've got to remember they are very much, and a lot of these companies are taking the Apple approach, the walled garden approach, capturing the users in just their ecosystem, right? And interestingly, the EU specifically, particularly, are very much against that. The interoperability between tools and systems is what built the web. This
Yes.
is web 2, right? And to build an API, the reason why a lot of the stuff works is because people wanted to build an API so that other tools can interact with it. So there's going to be a real conflict here between, this is great, but like I'm stuck with Webflow now, and like
Well,
it's
you're
it's the
stuck with,
open source. Hmm?
right now. You're stuck with the designs that you have inside of Figma. Like, there is no interoperability between the designs you have in Figma and Webflow. They are
That's
like
not true.
tools. They are building like tools, but these are not exactly like tools to
That's not true.
easily
You have
convert.
Figma to Webflow plugin, and
That
whilst
is not
probably
like, that is not even like close to being functional. Like in
well,
reality,
it'll be interesting to compare Figma to Webflow versus Webflow's attempt at capturing the Figma market, right? Because I don't know whether maybe for me the I didn't use Figma to Webflow, but I used other Figma to Web Studio at Wix Studio.
mhm.
And for me, it was just about understanding where the limitations are, and again having that head start. But time will just tell. All I'm guess is all I guess I'm saying is that there is a world where you don't want to be. I understand that almost OCD nature of having everything. You pay one subscription, everything's there, it's all nice and neat and tidy. But we all are also missing out on a big aspect, which is really nice interoperability between tools. If they worked a little harder on that, then how far that could go
Yeah,
is yet
yeah.
to be desired, because they're not going down that route.
Yeah, because, well, it's from both sides. Figma is also taking on Webflows. They are like trying to get their market and Framers market. Figma is
Mm,
trying to have like a web builder, so why not Webflow have a design tool? um, they've been a tool for designers since they started. So why not
mm.
give designers more tools? That's all I'm
Yeah,
saying. And give
yeah, yeah.
developers. Companies grow and they expand. It doesn't mean that the interoperability has to be sacrificed. That's how I
Mm,
see it. Anyway,
mm,
the next thing that they showed was code components, and this is something that I had early access to, and I couldn't tell you. So this is the reason why I was doing some React.
mm.
so uh, so with code components, you can have your code in your like your own environment and just push it via
Yeah,
CLI. You just push it to Webflow, and then inside of Webflow, you get like a new component, and you just use it. You just use it inside of Webflow, and it renders and it works, and you can connect some properties. And for the start, the properties, as you see, are very, they're not, this doesn't look nice, right? How should I like compare it to?
I mean, to me, it looks very much like WordPress, how WordPress used to be before.
Exactly.
Just fields, but you know,
This,
um,
this, I
yeah.
mean, like, this is I like don't mind this. This is not nice, but this is like it has a wider variety of like
Mm,
fields and types and more control. And what Webflow lacks is this kind of like there is
mm.
no
But
slider.
what you could do sliders, but what you're I suppose they could
No,
add um
that's what
more
I'm saying.
widgets.
They will add more input types. So it right now you change the radius using a number field, but in the future I will be able as a developer to decide if it's a number field or it's a slider with that has like nicer controls.
Mhm.
That's all I'm saying. And it's the
Or whether
same.
it's pixels, whether it's rems, things like that.
Yeah, and there is no color field either. So if you want to choose to
Mm,
change color, you can still, but you use like a text field to read the
mm.
color from, and
But
that works.
realistically, I think what would be the best, and I'm just thinking off the top of my head right now, what would be the best thing is that, because I know code components can read from variables, right? And it can read from yeah, it can read from variables. Am I misunderstanding that? I thought I read that it can read your site's variables.
I don't think so actually. Like
Interesting. Okay. I
that is
thought I read
something.
that. I thought I read that.
There's there's something else that one can read your variables. But code components, I'm not sure actually.
Mm.
I don't know.
Well,
Maybe it does.
ideally you would, you wouldn't give someone such free reign access to 1, 2, 3, 4 pixel, radius, border radius, right? It would be defined and constrained to the the style guide, right? The variables you've set up. So there'll be already a framework. Obviously, you can, depending on the needs, you might want to allow for a slider to do that. But
Mhm.
realistically, it would be a drop down to say small, medium, large, or and
I
those would
see.
be tied to variables and stuff like that. But the flexibility is there at the very least.
Yeah, and it's really cool that it's being rendered on the directly on the canvas, and you just see it even though it's in the code environment.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
but I'm I'm a beginner obviously in this realm, but it felt like I needed some sort of like continuous deployment. I don't know if it's even a thing, because every time I made a change, I had to
Sync
um,
it.
sync it through the CLI,
Yeah.
and then inside
Hmm.
of the Webflow, I had to update it, and then
Hmm.
it required like quite like I don't know.
I mean,
I
they'll
guess
improve that.
10 minutes.
Obviously, this
Yeah,
is it in beta now, or if they officially moved it out of beta? Was beta your pre
I was a part
release
of like the
access?
closed beta.
Closed beta. I wonder if it's in beta. Anyway, to answer the question, because obviously, like I made my video just reacting to the bits that I'm obviously interested in, and then I did some further research, and yeah, you can do a continuous, it can sync up with, as a continuous deployment pipeline where you can constantly keep updating your components through GitHub.
Mhm.
And just, I mean, I don't know how much of the tech you have looked into, but it's all using, sorry, hang on, someone's on the phone just out there. It's using devlink as a
Yeah,
backbone to all of this. So designers can also go in and change actually, this is an assumption. I'm not going to say this is it, but because I do know that it uses devlink as the
yes.
backbone. So theoretically, designers can also come in and change these components and update them, and then the developer can then pull them back down. Not sure if that will work through GitHub, but that's
It doesn't work that way yet. So these components are so far they are completely one way.
oh, so it's just code. No, is
Like
it's code to code components, or it's Webflow?
so you have the entire like the entire thing in your own code environment, and you push it to Webflow,
You
and a
can't
Webflow
you
developer.
can't change it inside of Webflow.
You can, but when you change it, it doesn't reflect. You cannot. pull that those changes to your code base again. It just, the changes are only with the fields that you define in your code, by the way.
Yeah.
So, and these are not obviously like automatically defined. You define them in the code,
Yeah.
right? And it's all React. So, yeah.
Which is well, I suppose we'll get into them betting on Astro, but like,
Yeah.
and Astro uses React, but from what I saw, or from what I understand, it would be interesting to know which flavor of React they go with inside of code components versus, Webflow Cloud slash
Mhm.
vibe coding.
Yeah. Well, we'll get into that in a second. So they have this next gen Webflow CMS update. This in a community meetup we had, people were like super excited about this. So now you can have many more CMS items per site and many more like fields and multi-reference collections and like 3 level of nesting and just more of the current CMS. What was completely missing for me was like any sort of like enhancement to the current CMS structure. Like the rich text right now we cannot pull in a component inside of put it inside of a rich text. I would like to see something like slots, like component slots inside of rich text. And that is obviously is missing, or some sort of like drag and drop so I can change the order of things, or like repeater fields, if it makes sense. So you define a field and the editor can decide how many of them that field they
Mhm.
want to use.
I mean, I'm sorry to burst your bubble, but there won't be a slot inside of a rich text field because technically that is not possible.
Why?
You because a rich text field is a text area, right? Or it's a oh no, actually I take that back. I'm thinking text area. Like I'm just thinking as just a regular text area. But
No,
no,
no, rich text. Yeah.
there could be. I think you open up a whole new UI to get it to position and whatever nicely. But if you just wanted heading text, like as we're looking at right now, and then this image that you've got on your screen is, let's say that's the component, and it's just block level, whatever, that probably pretty
Well,
straightforward. But
it is simple in my head because like they have component slots. I don't know if you use them or not, but with a component slot, it's essentially it's a div block and you can set it to display flex or grid or whatever. And then the components will obviously sit inside of it based on that.
you need to create a wrapping container around it to keep the well, I'm thinking of putting things in columns and stuff like that, but it would just need a new UI to be able to facilitate
I
proper.
don't think so. Why? Because we have slots. We already have slots.
What? Yeah, but I'm talking about positioning. I'm talking about how it interacts with the rest of the text there, the text, rich text fields. Let's say, for instance, you wanted a header, paragraph, and then you wanted the rest of the paragraphs to flow to the left-hand side, and on the right-hand side is your is your component.
Well,
You would
Webflow
need some sort.
they have this already with the rich text. You can like
The
float, or like the UI for that exists, and also you can add like a code component. So I would just imagine a UI where you like do slash component or like you click component, and then it just opens the component panel, just like the asset panel, the component panel, and and we already have like component canvas as an update, so the user could click on the component and add it. And once they added it, there we already have the UI for the component properties to show, so they can add the content there. So it's to me bringing it together, but it might be something that is coming. They didn't hint at it at all. I don't have any, information, first-hand information on this, but I just hope that all of this, because they called it a full rewrite, they said a
Mm.
re-architectured CMS. So I hope that this is going to come next.
Well, as part of that, I don't know whether you're going to get into it, but as part of the CMS stuff, there's also the API layer,
Yeah, what
which
what is new about that?
I think you just have more access to the items and things like that. And I mean, I don't know the specifics around the REST side of things, but being able to pull in CMS into your code components, and I think Webflow Cloud components or Webflow Cloud projects, being able to pull in CMS items through that, and
Mhm.
that is amazing. That's really good.
Okay, that is okay. Cool. Um, yeah, we had some update to the forums, which was not really any update. So, I have some friends with like, have you heard of like Form Connector?
Mhm.
So Form Connector is a Webflow app that essentially replaces the Webflow form. It actually plugs into your Webflow form, but then you don't need the deliverability of your Webflow form, and you use Form Connector to get your forms informations anywhere, so submissions anywhere. So I have that connected to my Notion, and it's pretty nice. It just works. So you connect the Webflow form to the Form Connector app, and then you choose the destination, and it just works. Webflow was supposed to like introduce some like new form UI and bigger update, but no, they didn't. They just added some like bot blocks and spam filter and things like this that existed already, but now you have control over it on an individual form level, which doesn't make much sense. Like you just want to filter spam altogether.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah. Why would
uh,
you not want to filter spam?
yeah, they showed some update to analyze. I don't know if you're interested in this. I'm not really, because Webflow Analyze. Yeah, I just use Microsoft Clarity. Webflow Analyze. I fully believe Webflow Analyze should be free. It's a paid feature, it's an add-on, and I fully believe it should be free, just like Microsoft Clarity is. And then they can charge money for Optimize, which is their AI reading the analyzed data and making adjustments based on that. These were like the smaller things, and the main two big things that we didn't talk about are the AI powered code gen. And we have like two updates here. So to show you here, we have code gen apps, and we have code gen code components. So just like these were the code components, we have code gen code components. So that is AI powered. Let me show it here. It is probably like easier to
That's probably
see.
where I was getting confused about the two-way thing.
Yes.
Like, so if you AI generate it, you're able to two-way sync it.
So this is the code gen. No, this is the code component AI, code component AI, and it's not a two-way sync. The code here does not live in your environment. This is the code that lives inside of your Webflow. So we have like these. It's kind of messy, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is all inside of Webflow, and you see this update button. This tells me that you can fiddle with the code and update as well as like using the AI. And
Yeah, it would be crazy if this is not a two-way sync. Like I should be able to two-way sync this. Um Yeah, because otherwise the other one is just reverse dev links. Then you've got like two single way dev links that
Yeah,
work.
the
Like
other one is
one is initiated by the designer that the developer can pull down. One is initiated by the developer that the designer can pull, but they both cannot interact with either of their products, the things they've built, the components they've built.
I
Whereas
agree.
this, because it's all code, 100% code generated by AI, but it's 100% code. So in theory, okay, so in theory, you could create you could design a component, developer can sync it down with devlink, copy that code, push it up to whatever, sync it over as a dev component, or
Yeah,
paste the code into here, and you've got a two-way thing going.
yeah, it's quite messy, but it's very early, so I
Yeah,
would
and I'm sure the
assume the
technical
next one.
aspects are a bit underestimated of getting all that to
Yes,
work. Because yeah, we're asking for a Webflow like UI on any code component that's been built, and
exactly.
not even Framer have figured that out, and they're the pioneers of the code component. So, of Framer, yes, Framer.
Yeah,
Always get confused with Figma.
I don't think that any company has this figured out because we still don't know like how far will AI get us? You know, we still don't know that. I was watching a video on like from Primagen and a few other developers, and essentially in very short, the video is like 1 hour long, but in very short, they don't either use AI or they use it for very simple tasks because it doesn't do what they want to. Not they,
Hmm.
not because they are against AI. They try it and then they see that it's trash. At least that's what they are saying, and I believe them for what they
Yeah,
are saying. Um,
yeah,
the
yeah.
result is
AI shouldn't carry us. It should help us do things we need it to. Yeah, you know what I
exactly,
mean. Like,
and they gave a really good example that I could kind of like understand, even though I'm not that technical on that side. The guy was saying like, if I tell AI to go to do this architectural change, it can't do it. Like we try, but it can't. It messes it up. But let's say we have like 50 versions of like a similar change, and I do one of them. I do this architectural change myself. I do it, and I say to AI, "Hey, this is like a template. Go do this to the rest as well." Now it can do it. But then the question is, did AI like write the code or just like help me with kind of like adjusting it? Which is interesting, a question in itself. And another thing is, these companies are saying how much of the code is being generated by AI. Which companies? So let me actually phrase this differently. So companies who are selling you AI, they are all about how much of the code is being generated by AI, where in reality we don't measure the quality of a developer by the amount of code they produce. You could
yeah.
actually argue for the opposite. You could say, oh, this guy, he's such a good developer. Since he has joined this company, he has been able to remove
Mm.
20% of our code while things are still running. So that would be a great developer. But with AI, these companies are saying like 70% of the code is written by AI and it's like 2 billion lines of code. Who cares? Like, since when is this like even a metric to measure like quality?
I mean,
It's
fucking
just
some
not.
companies do, unfortunately, but the point remains.
But the reality, it was never like, it was never about the amount of code produced. It was always about the quality and actually like reducing the code. But now all of a sudden, anyway, so you're completely right about all of this. Look at this prompt. It's kind of funny how long it is.
Mm.
This is a prompt that they pasted in. um, and it, for the code component, the it didn't work really well in my eye. But this is like AI. It's at this point, I don't think like Webflow or like Lovable or Framer or whoever else has a particularly like best AI, because they are all using the same APIs.
Same
It's
model.
all
They probably not even have. They probably don't even have much of a base prompt. A system
yeah,
prompt on top of it.
yeah.
They're just, and a lot of these companies are doing it. I spoke about Replit being one of the only companies who are actually layering on top of the AI, whereas all
Mhm.
the rest of them, they're literally just taking
Interesting.
the prompt and just doing that, and just they're just this middleman, which they're not offering any particular. That's just an assumption anyway. It doesn't seem like Webflow do any different from that.
Where I think Webflow could potentially have an upper hand in the future, and correct me if I'm wrong, is where, like with Figma and Framer, you are kind of abstracting the code layer from the user, and it's like so designer oriented. And in Webflow, it's so much more exposed, like the CSS and the HTML is exposed to me as a user, even if I'm not technical. So would that in theory make it easier for the AI to plug in and build based on that and develop based on that, where in these other tools they have their unique structure, and that could potentially make it more difficult for the AI to replicate the same code and continue based on.
I would say the complete opposite of what you've just said. I think the
Really?
fact that yes, because they can abstract and they have their own way of doing things, whereas Webflow, because of the flexibility, you can build the same thing a million different ways, and people have preferences on how they like to build things. So in some ways, you know, you're you can throw something out there, but it's not going to satisfy everyone. It's not going to be like, well, I didn't want that to be an article. I want it to be a section. I didn't want that section to be display grid. I wanted whatever, you know what I mean? There's so much, it's so open to interpretation that it would be easy to implement, but hard to actually nail and do a good job of it. I don't know. I mean, again, everyone's
We'll see
on a
about that.
different, yeah, exactly.
Uh, where where I ask this, like my question is coming actually from a data quality point of view, sort of like the structure that a framer site outputs, a framer user outputs is much more unique. At least in my head, I don't have like data based on, but it like the classes, the naming, it's React, it's all generated. It's very generative and random in a way, where with Webflow we have like structures, and the rest of the web is more similar to Webflow than it is to like Framer and Figma's. That's where I'm saying like the code that an AI generates, it's closer to a code that a Webflow developer generates. Therefore, it
Sure.
might be easier to plug it in. And why
Yeah.
I'm asking this is because we see we see companies like Lovable. They are starting at no code. Well, they are starting at a prompt and then giving you a UI. Slowly they are adding UI pieces that you can choose a heading and change the style manually, where Webflow has the complete opposite. Framer and Figma, they have the complete opposite. They have all the UI for control, and now they're adding the code gen, and somehow they're trying to probably like map the UI, because Framer and Figma are doing this. They're adding like these like properties that the designers can have in the code. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. Interesting feature anyway.
Yeah, and the last feature that they mentioned was AppGen, the most interesting one, especially because you can write a prompt for an entire app and then pull data from your CMS. That is very exciting to me. And you can pull from your components. So these could be components that are handcrafted by a designer, made with AI, or made by a developer. Any of these. You can pull them in, and then it spins up, and as we now know, an Astro project, and it's a completely different environment. It looks like it's inside of Webflow, but for all purposes, it's not. It's a
Yeah,
different layer. It's Webflow Cloud in a new tab, essentially.
that's what I was going to say. So from my understanding, this is now an interface, design, UI for Webflow Cloud. That just so happens to spin up an Astro project.
So what is
Be
Astro?
nice if they gave you the choice. It'd be nice if they gave you the choice between Next.js or Astro. I don't know why they haven't done that, but
Yeah. What is Astro?
Astro is just a server-side rendered app or website builder, just like Next.js. So it's a framework it's all React. It's all built on top of React. They're all React components, but they're saying you build it in this way and have your folder structures in that way and this and that. And then at the end of it, it bundles all that code together on the server. And yeah,
And have you
Web
seen
Studio
enough?
is also built on Astro as well, funny enough. And I
Ah,
think interestingly, Web Studio is probably much more positioned to do the things that Webflow is trying to do, because the website itself is already built on Astro. If the Webflow website that you're building inside of the UI, inside of the designer, inside of the canvas, if that was from the get-go just developing an Astro project or Astro website, they'll be much better positioned to be able to two-way sync the dev link and have all this sort of working together. So
interesting.
yeah, it's an open source framework for building React websites in a sentence.
Cool. Uh, why do you need Astro? Why don't you just use React?
Because React is not, well, I need to look into server components a little bit more, but React is not it's a client side library. So what they've done is they've modified it, or they've built a layer on top of it so that it can render React components, but on the server.
Okay.
And it adds, React aims to be as lightweight as possible. It's just a component framework, has a few hooks, has a few things that you can tap into, but it tries to be a very lightweight library that you can implement it as you want. An analogy might be, oh gosh, I wouldn't know what. I'm trying to think of a house rings a bell for some reason, but it's just, yeah, you can do what you want with React. They Next.js and Astro just so happen to put it in a node server and
So
implemented everything it needs to build a server-side rendered
I
website.
see. So what is the difference between Next.js and Astro?
There'll be many differences. There'll be tons of differences in the way you build a website, the way the folders are structured, the way that they deal with events and things. I think Astro is a signal. They prefer signals, and whereas Next.js are just leaning into the hooks. They'll just have different ways that they prefer to do things. I'm not well versed on the nuances between the two, but ultimately they achieve the same thing. It's
Okay.
just your preference on how you like to write or create projects. I need to know more of Astro given this change, but yeah, no one's going to. I don't know what the made. Is there a? Do you want to get on the screen right now? Next.js versus Astro, and we can look at the comparison. What people have highlighted as the differences. I mean, Astro might even have it on their bloody website, but it looked like it was a little bit faster. See, we just want a clear little diagram.
This one is from migration. I don't know. So here this is from
Maybe
Astro.
there's a video for me. Maybe there's a video for me right there.
Yeah, yeah, that it is. So they are saying this is real world sites with good core web vitals.
Mhm.
Mm. So this is essentially saying that websites that use Astro have a good core web vital, but it doesn't mean that Astro is causing that. This is a case of correlation with versus causation. That's what it
Yeah.
is, right? Islands optimize your website like no other web framework can. Leverage Astro's unique page load performance to improve. Okay, so it might be, but we don't exactly know. It's the percentages of, yeah. This is not, anyway.
No, no, no.
Um, so Astro can work with React or Svelte as well, right?
By the looks of things, yeah. Preact, Vue, solid. Yeah. I
Okay.
wonder if Webflow are. I mean, it would make sense. They talk about React and this and that. It would be crazy if they turn around and say, "Yeah, but the app builder, it uses Svelte."
Yeah.
But Svelte is pretty much like React as well. I think. I think it's not too far removed. It's JavaScript, right?
Yeah. Okay. With
But yeah,
zero
I mean,
cost.
there's I don't think many people. I don't know whether you've got real die-hard Astro fans or Next.js fans who are going to turn around and be like, "No, they shouldn't have gone with that." Like, I think we're splitting hairs at this point with frameworks.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's fair. Like that's fair to say. Yeah. Optimized image. Okay.
I would just like to have seen that you can spin up a project in Next.js or Astro, because that's what you can do on Webflow Cloud. You can send
Yeah.
it Next.js projects and it will work. Well, I mean, I'm having trouble getting it to work, but that's for another
Yeah.
time.
And you've seen? Did you see like the article? Webflow donated $150,000 to Astro. It's an
Yeah.
open source, apparently.
Yeah.
Is it? It like
Yeah,
open
it's open
source?
source. But I think Next.js is open source too, but they have
Mhm.
Vercel kind of as a daddy, or
Okay.
they got daddy's credit card.
They got daddy's credit card. Well, now Astro has a new daddy, and it's Webflow.
Well, how far can 150 grand go? I don't know. I genuinely don't know. I'm not saying, oh, they're a premier
What is the
contributor.
size of Vercel?
They're massive. I think they just bought. Who did they just buy? I didn't even buy them. They just gave them a bunch of money. I've forgotten who it was, but
So
yeah,
is like
Vercel massive.
Vercel bigger than Webflow?
I would say probably, yeah. They had a very clear value proposition, and just I think they used to be called, what do they used to be called, something, I don't know, they used to be called something else, but they just flipped the script on how easy it was to deploy apps. One button, sync with GitHub, and it's like, whoa, like this is amazing. So very, very quickly demonstrated a lot of value.
I should
They
have.
operate on AWS. They operate on AWS. So
Yeah, that's what I've heard. That Vercel is a AWS wrapper, but they just work, and
yeah,
it's easier to
yeah,
work with.
yeah.
I should have had this conversation at this very start because this is more interesting to me than the rest we talked about because I'm learning something.
What are you learning?
Like the differences between these and what they are used for. I mean, I guess I could do research, but
But
I'm like,
Vercel, it is a AWS wrapper. You're right, but it does offer a lot of nice things. It does, like, my personal website uses an SQLite database. Through Neon, integrates with Neon, but they have functions. They even, I mean, they own V0 as well, which deploys to Vercel. But they have a lot of features that you can deploy your apps to, and yeah, a very generous hobby tier. Like, all of my software runs on Vercel, and it's all not costing me a penny. You know,
Mhm.
it's
Well,
very.
I
They've made it very dependable. They've made themselves very dependable, given us
uh,
the dev tools, Next.js, and we're just left with Vercel at the end of the day. I think all of their escapades all result back to Vercel.
this is on Vercel as well. by the
Yeah.
way. Yeah,
Yeah. Where's the static website? Is it HTML?
yeah, yes, yes. But with this part of the code, we have it on GitHub, and there we are deploying to Vercel,
Yeah.
and yeah. But
EN
this is
as
what
well,
my
you know.
devs do. I have no idea, like not much
Mhm.
about it. So they were like,
Mm.
let's do it
And
with
they
Vercel.
have their own commenting system too. They have their own markup.io commenting system. So you can go in and comment and highlight things and whatever. That's all built into Vercel.
That is cool. So it seems like Vercel has a bigger daddy than what's it called? Astro.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, they
It's
are, yeah.
and Netlify would be Next.js's competitor. I do like Netlify, but like it makes it easier. Like you this would be well, yeah. Netlify's got its own thing, but Netlify is the competitor to Vercel.
Yeah. Should we sponsor Astro, like throw 200K just so we are like above Webflow? Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder who's given them the most.
But that's interesting. Like 150K, you're right. It's not much. Like if you hire a good developer, it will
Oh yeah,
cost
that's
more than
yeah, that's like
150K.
one developer salary.
Yeah. Not even one developer in in, I don't know, either coast of the US would cost probably
Mm,
more than this, like a
yeah.
high-end
Yeah.
developer.
Yeah, for sure. Crazy when you put it like that.
Yeah, yeah, right. Well, um okay, so
Anyway.
anyway, that is it, and it's like just to finish it off, I guess we talked about everything that ran all the way to the end. They showed a few things that they did with this AI, and it worked, by the way. The
Yeah, it
at
was a
the
calendar thing, wasn't it? It was calendaring.
Yeah, it worked, and they were surprised that it worked. But I mean, I guess
Yeah.
with AI, it's always like this. To be fair, I'm not picky on that. I'm more picky if they're like, it will create something great, and look how beautiful it is, and everybody's like,
Yeah.
no, it's not. But if it's like it's AI, it might work, it might not, and that's the true state of AI. Anyway, so if you look at this, does this look like a fork of VS Code to you? I mean, it's
Uh,
right?
I can't really. I'm zooming in. Does it look like a fork of VS Code? You've got the no, because you don't have a navigator in VS Code. You don't
Yeah.
have that. Um, it's yeah, it's just
I mean,
I'm
it's
not sure
just
what to say.
file system, and you see the code, and you have the code and preview, and
Mm.
this to me looks so. It's not even beta. I mean, it says AI assistant.
Was this a surprise to you? Did you know about this code gen?
No, I did not know about it,
Mm.
but
Because
I
last week you
would bet
said
like,
what would
yeah,
yeah, because
bet
last week
on
you said what would bring you back to Versailles, and you said like a replit like experience, and that's more like what this is, you know, a
yeah.
replit.
Uh, yeah, I would completely bet on it, because if they wouldn't do it, they would at least show it in a way that, hey, we are going this direction. Because every
Mm,
single company on the planet is going exactly this direction. And if they wouldn't,
mm,
that would be their end. But yeah,
mm,
you see this, there's a preview button here, by the way, and there is this
mm,
preview button from your Webflow site. And this is a
mm.
tab that is called AppGen. It looks so kind of like disconnected from Webflow. This is just
Yeah,
Webflow Cloud as a
just get it
tab.
working. Let's give people a UI to press.
Yeah.
But this isn't launching until next year, right?
Yes, and I would love to see this being mixed more and more and more with the Webflow UI. Imagine you could have these pages and whatnot
Mm.
with the Webflow editor.
But
That
saying all that, you can have all of this right now. Like this, don't be fooled into thinking this is offering you anything more than what Webflow Cloud is already offering, right? You're gonna, as it stands right now, you develop something in Cursor or Claude Code or whatever, however you do it, you vibe it, you build it, ask it to develop you an Astro project, or you use the Webflow, they have a
Template.
CLI where you just yeah, exactly. You just say Webflow, new Webflow Cloud projects, Astro, builds you the framework, and then you vibe away, push it up to GitHub, it will sync over, and then you've got it. Like it's not, it, yeah. Don't be waiting around for this to come out and feel like it's going to offer you anything more, particularly when it first releases.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and also you've got to buy my course. That's
Yeah.
that's the only other expense needed.
Yes, I mean,
But I do.
this is a perfect plug. You have a course where you teach people how to use Webflow Cloud with AI as well,
Yeah.
I assume, right?
Well, I think that's what we should be getting
Right.
into. There should be at least a module to say, look, this is how you would develop it. But it's not going to be groundbreaking. It's the AI is going to detect that it's an Astro project that you've spun up using the Webflow CLI, and you're left to your own devices to say add this, add that. Webflow haven't released much details around what you can do. Like we've mentioned CMS, we've mentioned like code components and all this. They haven't released anything how Webflow Cloud is going to be able to interact with those things right now. So we're kind of just left with bare bones Astro project for now. Once all that information comes in, then you might want to start, starting a project in this app gen stuff. But as long as you write the code, but they should, I don't know. They should probably allow some sort of proxy that you can run where your Astro project can get your CMS items
It
from
seems
your
like, yeah,
CMS
yeah.
locally when you're building this
Ah,
locally, because they still want to
ah,
facilitate the local build of a project. I want to be able to use Claude Code rather than Webflow's. Um,
makes
you know.
sense. It makes sense. Yeah, it makes sense. So here in the documentation, I guess this is still old. Like the first
Mm,
thing that they tell you, like Next.js, you can do it with Next.js,
mm.
and then Astro is second here. And
Mm.
then this is, I guess, how you do it.
And it's a mess, this documentation, because like probably you've got to open there. You've got add storage, and then you've got add SQLite, you've got add key value, and you've got add objects. If you go up, oh, you found a third place they've got it. But yeah, so you've got data storage, but you've got add storage as well. Look up, yeah, here. And these two, there's variances in how you do these two pages, or at least the last time I checked. So it's very, very confusing. And I think there's even one under bring your own app, but I don't know. But yeah, it starts to get very confusing. So I'm trying to pick these apart and break it down for you in my course to help you just get it up and running. So you don't have to pick through all of this, because one version of this documentation doesn't work.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah, I had
um,
issues with the documentation as well. So actually, like having a developer who does it and tries it and gets it working is appreciated. I think you should also get into the Webflow Slack. You should send them a DM and someone, or I can facilitate that, so you can get in touch with developers who are developing these features. Because uh, to me, for the Webflow, for the code components, the documentation was not working. I showed it to my
mhm,
developer, and he said, this is clearly wrong. He knew it somehow. So he was like,
mm.
it's not your fault, it's the documentation's fault. So I ran it with Webflow, and they were like, oh yeah, the documentation, they didn't have it updated. So
I'm speaking to Zach, whoever that maybe his second name is here, but I'm speaking to Zach. Yeah, it's just Zach. Yeah, whatever. I'm still waiting on a response for them. I sent them a bunch of logs and things like that, but um
I can
yeah.
connect you. Yeah. Anyway, so this was it, and it's quite interesting where the all of these companies are going and the new tools, and I'm excited to try them.
My take in all this, and where I share a frustration with AI, all the things, is I feel like I don't know. I'm not inside of Webflow. I'm not inside of Framer, but like I feel like these tools they're building lack a clear North Star on who it's for and what it empowers them to do. My big statement was really undermined by the fact I was sideways. Um,
This I get
it
completely.
it
Yeah.
feels like they're throwing stuff out there without really a clear direction of what we're trying to enable right now, you know. And that's fine, inherently that's fine. That's what humans have always done throughout history, is just we've got to experiment, we've just got to throw stuff out there. Sometimes we don't know, and just sit back and observe, and then through that we start to navigate. Okay, marketers are the only people who are using app gen, you know, and then deal with that data. But you know, similar to demoing broken software, maybe it seems like we've lost the art of finesse. I mean, video games are the clearest example. When you ship that cartridge, there ain't no going back from that cartridge. So yes, glitches appear in Mario
Or like
64
the
and
sandbox
whatever.
glitches.
Uh, um, glitches were, and you couldn't. There was no DMC or whatever you call them. You know,
Yeah.
downloadable content. So you need to get it right, you know. So maybe there's a bit of finesse that's needed for these bits of software, just to identify like, why are we doing this, who are we doing this for. You watched the present. I didn't really watch it from end to end. Did they ever say like, this is for the next generation of designers who want to enter the world of development? Did they say anything to that effect on any
Not
of the
that I
launches?
remember. Not that I remember.
Mhm.
And you're touching on such a good point. I think Webflow completely dropped the ball there with their communication, their marketing and communication, who they are for and what they are trying to do. Because they used to say that. What you are asking, they used to say,
Mm.
we are democratizing the web, building on the web, enabling more and more people to design and build websites.
Mm.
So that
I think
is,
that problem statement is
yeah,
really nice because,
and it's still broad. It's still like anybody who wants to build on the, but it's still like a clear statement. And right now, no, they don't have that. And when they showed these AI stuff that were at the start, by the way, I asked that in the live comments, and other people were asking alongside with me. They were like, who cares? Who is this for? Like, who are you trying to sell this to? I
mm,
I never asked for an AI assistant that is, half-ass working. And sure, do experiments, but don't sell it to me as your main selling point. And if you
yeah,
do experiments, I will actually. I am in the beta
yeah. I was going to
features that
say
get.
they've got a group.
I
You've got
would
a group of
love
people.
to try new features. I'm not like against these features, but I think they are like lost in the direction. They are lost in the, maybe they are not lost in the direction, but they are not capturing the imagination of people who get excited about cool things. That's that's the soul of a company. Or as content creators, we should have that as well, capturing the interest of people by sharing things that are genuinely interesting. At least they are genuinely interesting to us, so
Mm,
they will be interesting to other people as well. We saw this in the keynote, by the way. When everybody else was presenting, the comments, you could see it. The comments were painful. Even one of my teammates, he said, "Why are you being so mean to them?" He told me. And I was like, I'm frustrated. I'm just showing how I feel, because people were not enthusiastic about the presentation. And I understand, like, people get stressed, and but you can still see through this. You can make a you can you can tell if
Mm,
somebody's stressed or somebody's just bored out of their mind. And I feel this
mm.
was more of the latter. But when Vlad, the founder of Webflow, he joined the stage, and his name was not in the speakers. We talked about this. You remember? We talked about this, but he joined, and he had this like energy with him, and this enthusiasm, and this
That's what a
like
founder
look,
brings, isn't it?
yeah, and the look for the future. Like, look, this is what we are building. That's what I want to see. Like, I'm not a
Mm,
part of the conf to see the updates that they shipped 2 months ago. They did that.
mm,
They showed us
mm,
old updates. I want to see what you're building for the future.
mm.
Um,
In my opinion, one of the last great innovations that Webflow had was it was a point around this time last year where they released page builder, or where you're able to define a bunch of components and then marketers can then add them all in and move them around and stuff like that. Why they didn't why they've kind of, and also class properties. It was around, do you know what I'm talking about, this kind of era
we have those,
of a
we
few
have those, and they are like
we
super cool. We use them.
really
Like, we
super
can't
cool,
live
exactly.
without them. Yeah.
And so why, and I thought, me personally, and this is free advice for Webflow. Take this advice. Why didn't add to this momentum with AI? I don't know. Why you couldn't give a marketer the ability to spin up a page with AI, but using components that the designer has already done. Like, that's where I feel like AI could really add a lot of value
True.
and a clear kind of definition to it by allowing designers to still work with Webflow and use Webflow for what it's for. Because now it's not, the app gen doesn't really compete, or it puts it on a level playing field with everything else. It's not really adding to these tools.
Fully agree.
That's
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know why they have
No,
why
that
they.
is, you're cutting off. That's why I'm trying to cover up.
Go
Yeah.
for it. Go for it.
No, it's okay. You're back. You're back. And I fully agree. They could introduce so many of these things to marketers, and then we would know, like, okay, they are trying to sell this to marketers. So I, as a designer, I felt like I'm I felt offended by the designs that they showed the AI created, and they called it good.
Oh yeah, yeah,
That
yeah, yeah.
that felt bad. That didn't. That was like, that is the opposite
Mm,
of good. That is a
mm,
wireframe that is sloppy, not even a clean wireframe. It was a sloppy wireframe with a little bit of style to it. It was just had a few
mm,
purple colors. That was
mm,
it. Don't call that nice. But what you said, that Webflow should pay you for it. They should create a video. Hey, we use AI to, the designer
mm,
can create the designs and the variations
mm,
manually, handcrafted, beautiful. It has soul, and now a soulless marketer. I'm sorry, a soulless marketer comes in and says, "I want a landing page using these systems with this copy." And the AI takes the copy, expands on it based on the context of the website, and uses these components that the designer created with love and create a page based on it. It
mm.
totally makes sense.
It goes back to what I was saying when it comes to clearly understanding and clearly defining who this tool is for and what they're trying to achieve. And so, rather than, they can still announce the same sort of things, in some ways, I guess, but like, they need to understand that Webflow users, the people who use that design, think of the three, what do you call them, build mode, design mode, or whatever.
Yeah,
People who work in the design mode categorically do not like AI. So, focusing on all that time building a platform or a system that helps them do something they don't want help with, or not just that I don't want to help with. Again, it comes down to the framing of it. Have it kickstart your design. Don't have it do your design, because that's no, that's what you want to do. You want to do that. Like, yeah, I'm a fan of basically building me a simple 6-column grid system just to get me going, and then I can add all of my shit on top of it, right? What I'm saying is, but it feels like they're lost in who they need to identify their different users and what those users want AI to do for them. They've taken that, they just assume that all designers want to not design, or all Webflow users want to not use Webflow. They just want AI just to do everything for them. And I don't think that's the case
Yeah,
whatsoever.
every
They should have,
company is assuming that, which is wrong.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, like if I think their AI ambitions should have been focused on their marketing targets or their marketing audience, because they have a strong marketers audience, as you know, with Analyze and Seth Godin being there and stuff like that. There was a that's they have a very clear audience of marketers. That's one of their biggest selling points, I think.
Yeah,
50-50 to designers is like designers who want to build websites without writing code, and marketers who want to work on websites that have been defined
I
for
agree.
them and they can
And
easily just craft more and more pages. Um,
designers are the next generation of the developers, I believe. This is where companies decide what tool to go with, because Webflow does not have the respect of developers, like true hard
yeah,
code.
it slows us down, if anything. It
Yeah.
really does.
So, and Webflow should be fine with that. They should try to get people who are,
Yeah.
junior developers who are trying to become developers, but they just get stuck at CSS and a bit of JavaScript. They can completely get these people in and forget about like the hard, like the crazy developers, like ninja developers. And designers should be the heart of the product, because they are the
They're
decision
needed
makers in
regardless.
the case. Yeah,
A
yeah,
marketer is useless without a designer anyway.
yeah,
Yeah, it's an interesting point. Like, yeah, I don't, as a developer, I will use Webflow as a developer, but not for me. I will use when I interview a client, I'm talking to a client, I'm listening for them wanting to do things themselves once it's been developed or created or whatever, what to do. And sometimes people don't want that. So, sometimes people literally just they want to build a product and they want to work on it for a year and several years and constantly. That sounds like the where a developer would fit in. But if they just want to build something that they can just create pages from and add content, it's like, cool, Webflow's your thing. I'm gonna dislike using it, but it just doesn't need a developer's continual involvement. So yeah, I don't know. They need to be clear about who their target market is, and I think you've identified it. There's two majors: the designer and it's the marketer. Really, is it? Do you
yeah.
think there's any more?
Um, like I would say, like junior, like super junior developers. Um, they
Potentially, but they don't get exposed to anything, and for that, I
no, they
would
could, they
say,
could. I believe they could. Like one of my friends, I could. I could. He was on the show. He's a crazy developer, right? He day in day out he writes code, right? He doesn't also. He's not an AI lover. He does AI like research and development stuff, but he doesn't like the current quality of the AI generative AI output. With that being I'm saying all of this to say he started with Webflow. He
that's crazy.
started, yeah, he started with Webflow. And imagine like so
Good.
many more people like him could start with Webflow, just knowing
Hmm.
that, like communicating. This is where I say like Webflow is missing with their or failing with their marketing efforts and like social communications. That with our tool, marketers can do these things, designers can do these things, and developers, we are not hiding away, we're not abstracting away the code, we're not hiding the complexity from you. We are just enabling like designers like to work easier, but as a developer you can start from an easy start and go as deep in as you want. And one day you might decide to not continue with Webflow because it's, too confined and too small for what you are trying to do, which is completely fine.
Yeah.
Webflow is not communicating any of that. Instead, it sounds like they are trying to sell to big corporations who want to have a systematized website, which is
Easy to manage.
not bad, but that should be like the byproduct of your platform. Like the platform has the tools that can drive such results, but people who choose to use Webflow are designers, like it or not. The, all of these companies have designers, and these designers might not be the final decision makers, but I this is what I see. I've seen companies move away from Webflow, not because Webflow was not delivering any of the things that they want. Actually, quite the opposite. They downgraded quite a few of their aspects of their website by going to Framer, but they did go to Framer because the designers who work at these companies, I know them, and they are more familiar with Framer. So they were like, if I'm going to manage a website, I can't deal with Webflow. I'm familiar with Framer instead of Webflow, so I'm going to use Framer. And the companies, they're like, yeah, this designer is doing like 10 other things and that on top of it. So just rebuild the site
Mm,
inside of Framer. A downgrade, yeah, well, whatever. They take it in. So that's where
mm,
it's coming from. I'm not saying it based on just some imagination. This is what I see. I've been hired for like crazy work, like some like enterprise level of like work, and I was like they recommended me, like a designer saw my videos and he recommended, and that happened actually like 2 or 3 times already. Like designers seeing my videos, saying like, okay, this guy knows Webflow, he's technical or whatever, has a taste, whatever, and like let's hire him. So the designer kind of like drives the decision making there, even if they don't do it themselves. So
mm.
that's been my experience.
I mean, zooming out just a little bit, you said about developers, very, very young developers or early developers finding that through Webflow. Zooming out and talking about this whole idea of democratization, like I think we need to be more proud and excited about that. Whereas I feel like a lot of people are hold their craft very tightly, and the moment it gets democratized and it gets easier, they start to double down on it. It's like, oh, it's rubbish and whatever. And this was highlighted to me through my Nana Banana post on LinkedIn,
Mhm. Yeah,
where people were saying like, oh no, you want a real it's not going to kill Photoshop because we won't be able to do this and this and this. It's like, wow, I mean, it's people are going to get excited, like, sorry, bloody camera, people are going to discover the art of manipulating photography through simple tools like Nano Banana, right? And yes, they're not going to be great. Yet it's not going to be great, but it's just allowing that gateway. It's that bar that's been lowered that, yes, probably 80% of those people are just going to stay in that world and they're not going to care.
exactly.
But 20% are going to get hooked and they're going to be like, huh, I like this. And then they're going to discover Photoshop. They're going to discover all these newer tools and grow and stuff like that. And I just don't get why people aren't excited about that democratization. They themselves probably found the art of photography through Photoshop, which is a democratization of dark rooms and having to process photographs yourself. Like, we're all a product of a level of democratization, which
Exactly.
for some reason people get on their high horse about the fact that they're not a real developer because they use Webflow, or they're not true because they didn't start writing code. It's like, just let people find their path in this, and those that don't want to find their path in doing it, like, let them exist at that level. Be thankful that people are enjoying
I,
themselves and finding fulfillment and all that. And yeah, that's my rant.
yeah, I agree. And these companies should know this and communicate this through their channels, specifically talking about Webflow. They should be communicating to masses, because right now it seems like they're niching down, in opposed to what I believe should be trying to go viral.
Hmm.
And just as you said, 80% or even like 90% of people might sign up, try Webflow, and never touch it again, or like never get deep in it. But there will be people who will get deep in it. They will build with it, and there will be just more of it. Like it will grow,
Hmm.
because right now it doesn't really feel like that. Anyway, we talked about designers, and I want to show this as a last thing. It's just a cute last thing. It's before I tweet it. I'm going to show it here. Okay,
There you go, exclusive.
exclusive. How do you feel about the design of this?
Well, I mean, one block like that, it looks good. Just generally, it just looks nice. But to just have every, it's just overdone. Like there's no variation.
Yeah,
You
doesn't
know,
it feel like I don't know? It's like unicorn puke, and people call it.
unicorn puke. is that a term you've coined? Yeah, I mean, again, using it once or twice is fine, but it's like it's kind of like unicorn puke, and that like everything is calling out for attention. You're not bringing it, it's just an amateur designer has come in and they're just like up the contrast on everything rather than using hierarchy and basic design principles to say, well, let's bring this back because it highlights this feature. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, but that's one side of thing. But to be fair, that's not the point of this type of bento grids. The point of this
Hmm.
type of bento grids, which was popularized by Apple, is to show everything in a view. And yes,
Yeah.
some with more interesting, like with bigger boxes. But the point is here they're like using a lot of color, and these colors are not driving any value. They are just overwhelming my visual sensory, and they don't tell me what is different between these. Like, why is this okay? This one we know GSAP is green, but why component canvas is green and code component is
Mm.
blue, while code component is purple?
You can
Why?
kind of, if you give them benefit the doubt, you can kind of derive some sort of meaning from it. Certainly with the AI stuff being mostly
Yes.
purple, but then they've,
No, this is
but
AI, and no.
yeah, look at
Yes,
that. But that could that be marketing stuff? Yeah, that could be
yes, they're
marketing. But yeah,
trying.
the point
Yes,
remains. I think we're both saying the same
it
thing, that
doesn't
that
show it.
lacks any meaning. Yeah,
Yeah, it doesn't like communicate it. You have to kind of like pull it by, it's like getting into it. So that's really bad. So look at this. Uh, so these are the images from previous
yeah,
year. So yes, these are also busy, but if you look at each one single one of these, you know what it is. Okay, it
yeah.
kind of like it tells you what each one is. Or even better, this one was even nicer. You could see like spline, you could see like tiny mighty updates are like what they are. There is like a sense of design and care for design and care for details. And I'm really sorry for whoever who made this. I know they might be under time pressure, or I don't want to attack that person, whoever. I don't know who did it personally, but this is not the same level. This is not the same universe. This is not the same company.
Mm.
This to me is a huge step backward. That's why
I mean,
wait, wait,
being,
wait, wait.
oh, sorry.
Wait. That's why I asked my teammate, I said, can we do something about this? So we made this. It's a complete overkill, but we decided to take one of these windows and make something nice with it and say,
Mhm.
hey, it could be done this way. And I want to tweet this, but show it to you first. So it's
Yeah, that's
made
cool.
in Blender and in 3D, and it's just like adding some interest. And it was done in the mornings. Of course, like if we have a budget, and if we have like if we have the time for it and whatever, we can do much more. But even in a morning, we could do, I would say, even like better than these, and certainly better than these, and just make something interesting, something beautiful, and people will share this. Um, People will care more because it looks nicer. I mean, I'm all about visuals, right? You know that
Yeah.
already. It should
Yeah.
get people's imagination and interest and talk to them in that. Yeah. So
The
yeah.
only the benefits I can take from it is at least they've committed to a design, because this did seem cohesive with the rest of what was going on, whether it's to your taste or not. So at least it
Uh,
was somewhat
yeah.
cohesive.
Yeah, I
And then
know.
the other thing is, at least they're trying something different, because if the only thing to criticize from the previous 2 years is that we're very samey, so at least they're trying something new, and there's always next year. So maybe they're going to hire your guys next year to do the graphics.
Yeah, yeah. Well, they have this style, by the way. This is their new website, and this style, I believe, has the potential to be expanded to something nicer than what we saw. This is, to me, not exactly the same style as this. Not they're both gradients, but that's not, how that works. Anyway, it's
There you go.
small thing. I want to tweet it and
Mhm.
say, hey, we fixed that for you.
We fixed
So,
checks in the mail.
yeah, yeah. Webflow, my
I
address.
I thought I had a hunch that you were going to show me something. I thought you were going to show me a overhaul of the whole thing, but of course not. You would have
Yeah,
done if you could.
I would have done it if I could, and that's not what is paying my rent, so I have to be mindful of that.
Yeah. There
Well,
we go.
maybe it
Right.
will. Maybe Webflow. Maybe you want to help me do this type of thing, and I love doing this, like sitting with my team and doing this type of things. This is like where I live, and I feel like so creative when we're like I bring it bring an idea, and my designer's like, you know what, I have a better one, and he does something better, and then like
Yeah.
our 3D he's like, oh, we could also add that camera thing, and like a bunch of like things, and 5 minutes later we have a really cool idea. We're doing 3D UI for a client, which I will get back to right after this live, and I cannot wait to show you that. Linear and their assets, we're going that direction for this client, and I always wanted to do this. Always wanted to build beautiful UI, interactive UI, and also add a sparkle of 3D. And right now, we're exactly doing
Sparkle.
that.
Very cool. I look forward to seeing it.
Yeah. Nice.
Cool.
We're at 69 views. Very nice.
Very good. Let's end on a high.
Keep it like this. Yes.
Cool.
And yeah.
Wrap it up there.
Yes. So
Let's do it.
with all
Cheers for
that,
tuning in, everyone.
yeah, thank you for joining, and we'll talk to you next week and see you around.
Keep on
Peace out.
vibing.